Hello viewers, welcome back to the Moose Mobile Auto Repair channel, and today we're working on a 2021 Toyota Rav4 with the 2.5 liter engine, and we are just going to be performing an oil change service. So now the vehicle is safely supported by jacks and jack stands. You just need to jack up the vehicle on where the two notches are in the front, and then just place a jack stand beside it. And the same thing on the other side. I just leave the jack there for extra safety. That's all. So earlier I forgot to check the oil level when the vehicle was on the ground, but that's okay. I just wanted to see the condition of the oil. This customer has been doing 16,000 kilometer oil changes, but I have advised the customer against that, to do 8,000 kilometer oil changes. 16,000 kilometers is way too long of an interval. It's not good. The oil can go that long, but the engine can't. It's going to cause a lot more wear and tear in the engine, especially that I live in Canada, and so we classify as severe driving conditions. So I'm going to open up the oil cap. Usually it's supposed to say something on the oil cap, but on this one it doesn't. But this vehicle takes 0W16 fully synthetic engine oil. So we are going to be using that. So just make sure that you open the oil cap and you pull the dipstick out. You don't need to take it out completely, so that the oil will drain a lot better and easier. So we are underneath the vehicle. On the passenger side, you'll see a service cover. There are 4 10mm bolts on each end, so you need to take them off to remove this plastic service cover. So we are going to remove the bolts for the service cover. They are 10 millimeters. And remove that out of the way. And then you should be able to have access to the oil and the oil filter, which is in the corner here. So we have the drain plug over here. And we have the oil filter that's hiding in the corner here. So we are just going to remove the oil filter first. It doesn't really matter if you want to drain the oil first or change the oil filter. It's up to you. So we are going to remove the oil filter first. So I'm just using an oil filter removal tool. You can purchase this from Amazon. It's a 3/8. So I'm just using a 3/8 ratchet. Make sure you have a drain pan of some sort to catch the oil. Part number for this oil filter is right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's 90915-YZZ-N1. I live in Canada, so we say Z and not Z. USA, you guys say Z, but in Canada, we say Z. So now we are just going to wipe down the housing with a shop towel. Make sure that the surface is clean before you install a new oil filter. So I'm going to be using an aftermarket oil filter that I usually carry in stock. Part number is 4476. Just make sure you lubricate the gasket with clean engine oil before you uh, install this onto the engine. This is slightly taller than the Toyota oil filter, just slightly longer. It's not going to be a big deal, really. So install this onto the engine. And as soon as it contacts the surface, just tighten this up hand tight. You don't really have to crank this up all that much. Just making sure it's tight. And then now we are going to drain the oil now. So we are going to drain the oil. It's a 14 millimeter. So we are going to let this drain. The customer just came here, so the engine is already is warmed up. So it's best to drain the oil when the vehicle is warmed up. It's nice and warm, so that you're able to drain the oil faster, and a little bit more of the contaminants will come out of the oil pan. I'm just gonna use a magnet to catch the drain plug that fell. It's right here. We are going to replace the drain gasket. This is an aftermarket drain gasket. It's a fiber gasket, part number 2136. If you want to use the Toyota drain gasket, you can. If you want, this one and the Toyota ones are very similar. So usually these Toyota gaskets, they like to get stuck onto the oil pan. So what I do, I just use a flathead screwdriver, and I hit the end with my fist to get the old gasket off. So we'll just do this. And you should be able to come out just like that. Being careful to not place the screwdriver in such a way that it will damage the threads inside the pan, the oil pan. So once this is all done draining, you can reinstall the drain plug. It's gonna drip like this for a while, but that's all there is right now. So you can wait if you want to get every single drop out, or as much as possible, but you won't be able to get every single drop of oil out during an oil change. There'll always be some oil left over inside the engine. So reinstall the drain plug. I'll post the torque specs for you guys to see. I just tighten it up snug and tight, and then you're all good. This is a steel oil pan, so it's not as sensitive to the torque specs as an aluminum pan. For aluminum, you have to be even more careful so you don't strip out the threads. Just need to tighten up snug, and then you're all good. So once you're done, just take a can of brake cleaner or something, wash down the area to clean any leftover residue from the oil. Double check your work, make sure everything is nice and tight. So now we are ready to pour in the new oil. I use a special type of funnel for oil changes for Toyota and Lexus vehicles. So this basically it threads into the valve cover, so you're able to pour the oil in easily. I don't know if this one works on this particular model, but I'm checking now. So I assume that this one works. So earlier in the video, I said there isn't anything that's printed on the oil cap, but if you look underneath the hood, you'll see over here it says engine oil SAE 0W16. SAE is a standard. It stands for Society of Automotive Engineers. So this is just an automotive standard. So the capacity for this engine is roughly 4.5 liters. I'm using the Super Tuck 0W16 full synthetic oil. I bought this from Walmart. It was on sale. It's roughly, after taxes and eco fees, is about $32 or $33 Canadian at the time of this video. So said it's compatible with conventional engine oils, superior low and high temperature protection. Said API for American Petroleum Institute. You take a look at the back and you see here that it's for, so it says Toyota and Honda engines designed to use SAE 0W16 meet requirements for all gasoline automotive engines currently in use, where a SAE 0W16 that meets API SP, SN plus, SM, SL, or ILA SAC GF -6B is specified. So this meets the standards and requirements for this engine. So this is safe to use. Any approved oil is safe to use in this engine. And just make sure after you are done with the oil change to make sure that you dispose your old oil properly, because I've seen people, they change their oil and they put the oil beside the dumpster or the garbage cans. Nobody's going to take it. And I've seen oil containers open without the caps on, and polluting the environment. So please make sure you dispose your oil properly. Take it to a shop or to a local recycling facility or something. Don't leave your oil containers beside the dumpsters or garbage cans, because I don't think anybody is going to take it. So anyhow, we are going to pour in the good stuff, approximately 4.5 liters. It does state, I use Identifix for the most part for service information. It does state that after you put 4.5 liters in, 4.5 liters, to double check the oil level and top up if necessary. So the capacity is not always going to be exactly on spot. So that's why you have to make sure to check the oil level afterwards. You may need to top it up a tiny bit more if you need to, because uh, in some circumstances, I've seen manufacturers, they understate the oil capacity for some reason. I think because of in environmental reasons or pollution or whatever. I'm not really sure, but more often than not these days, I'm seeing the manufacturers are understating the amount of oil in the owner's manual. So usually I have to put a little bit more oil than what the owner's manual states, or what the specification states. So uh, I put just enough oil until I see that the oil level is full on the dipstick. So I think that's roughly 4.5 or so. Just make sure when you check the oil level that the vehicle is on somewhat on level ground. There's usually a tolerance, maybe like 1 or 2 or some degrees off, which is okay. It's not a big deal as long as you're somewhat on level ground to check the oil level. We're just going to do a quick wipe. In some cases, I've seen these oil caps where the gasket is too worn out and squashed. And so sometimes they leak out oil even after that this is closed. So every once in a long while, you may have to replace the oil cap because of this seal. The seal, it wears out over time, and that can cause some of the vapors to escape. And it, it, I haven't seen it cause problems in terms of drivability issues, but this whole thing is part of the PCV system. So everything has to be sealed properly. In some cases, I've seen some drivability issues because the seal was too badly worn out and oil was escaping from here. So sometimes it can cause a vacuum leak in some rare cases. So anyhow, I'm just going to close this up. I haven't closed everything up at the bottom yet for the service cover. So I just want to verify for leaks first. So we are going to start the engine up. So we are going to check for oil leaks now. Just make sure there isn't anything leaking. Everything looks good. I probably have to clean up a little bit more, and then that's going to be it. So now I verified for leaks. Just reinstall the service cover. You can, if you want, you can lubricate these bolts with some anti-seize or grease so that they don't seize up. in the future. So now the vehicle is on the ground now. I put roughly 4.5-ish, 4.75 around, I think. So it's registering at the full mark now. You can see that. I have to get the camera to focus for you guys. So it's exactly at the full mark. And that's exactly on what we want. Just having a look at it again. I'm just going to wash the area down, and that's going to be it. We just need to clear the service light, or the service reminder message. It said to see the dealer. So I have the vehicle running at the moment. It said maintenance required. Visit your dealer. So we have to clear that. So what you have to do is to use the navigation controls on the steering wheel over here, and press OK, and go back and scroll through the menu here, the options. Go down to vehicle settings, hold down OK roughly for 2 seconds or something. I have to go back again. So go to scheduled maintenance. Okay, reset data. Go to yes. It said reset complete. Then go back. I have to see if that the visit dealer thing is gone now. So I'm going to shut the vehicle off. I believe the message is gone now. Because earlier it said to visit dealer. Okay, so it's all cleared now. That's everything for clearing the oil reset. So I removed the old oil sticker. It says 104,800 that it's due, and now it's at 112,475. Now the customer stated that the Toyota dealer said they can do 16,000 kilometer oil changes, but they set the interval at 8,000. This was May 2024 on when it was due. Now we are in February. Today is February the 22nd, 2025. So it's been almost about like 9 months until they had the oil service. I'm trying to get the customer to change the oil a bit more frequently, because I'm not a big fan of changing oil at 16,000 kilometers. It's just way too long to go without an oil change for these types of driving conditions here in Canada. There's a lot of people who are going to debate with me, but I'm not going to argue. I recommend 8,000 kilometer oil changes, and no more than that. It's not good to go any more than that. For some of you guys who want your vehicles to last a very long time, I'd rather change the oil sooner rather than later, because to avoid problems. It's called preventative maintenance. Although oil technology has gotten better over the years, and engines have gotten better over the years, and different additive packages and stuff, but I don't recommend such an extended oil drain interval. It's not good for the engine. I've already seen too many problems with the engine oil levels getting low, and contribution to oil burning. Extended intervals will contribute to more wear, and then it'll start to wear out the engine, and the piston rings are going to wear down, the cylinder walls are going to wear down, and that's going to contribute to oil burning. And then more often than not, you'll end up topping up the oil every single time, because the engine is wearing out and burning oil. So I just recommend to stay on the safe side. Change the oil at a minimum 8,000 slash 6 months. If you want to change it earlier, there's no harm in doing that. It's up to you, but really I'd recommend 8,000 kilometers or less, 6 months or less. One last thing I forgot to mention is the fuel dilution issues on some cars, and I just drained the oil out of this, and it smelled a little bit like gas, so it smells like fuel. And so the issue is that the all of the fuel is going to be inside the engine oil, and that's going to wash down the cylinder walls if there's too much fuel. Usually too much fuel inside the engine oil is going to wash down the cylinder walls, and that's going to contribute to more wear and tear on the engine. This engine has direct and indirect injection for the fuel injectors, and so it's imperative to change the oil more frequently to avoid problems. And so that's one thing that I forgot to mention earlier. There's too many variables when it comes to engine oil and driving conditions, so you'll have to assess on the conditions in which you drive, and just go from there. Now, if a vehicle doesn't get driven at all, very short trips, changing the oil once or twice a year should be fine. But I recommend changing the oil every 6 months if you don't reach the mileage, if you don't reach 8,000 kilometers. I know in some particular vehicles, like on Honda, the 1.5 liter turbocharged engines that have the fuel dilution problems, the oil dilution problems, and so it's just imperative to change the oil more frequently to avoid all of these issues. So that's going to conclude this video for the oil change service on this 2021 Toyota Rav4. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please don't forget to give it a like, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already a subscriber, and please don't forget to hit that bell notification if you guys haven't done so. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good day and take care.